everybody. This is Jody Lester, or JL, and you are on Elevated Living at elevateme.org. And this is the Daily Lift. We're continuing March 2011, our series on concepts, exploring them, exploring the differences, the integrated meanings, and some of the opposites in those concepts. Today, we're going to discuss production versus process. Perhaps it should be the other way around, because genuinely, that's how it's done. There are all types of people in the world, but for the sake of argument, let's say there's two. People who are producers and people who are thinkers. And in between them are a little bit of both. People who, not unlike myself, both process and produce. And some of us do one or the other, maybe a little more. I know in my case, I can think a lot. I'm a thinker. I'm big on thinking. One of my favorite philosophers is Descartes. There's a whole philosophy on just contemplating your existence. I love that. I'm a processor. I process a lot. I process all types of information. Sometimes I think too much. And when I finally act, it's usually with precision, with confidence that I know what I'm doing. Sometimes it just takes me a long time processing before I actually get there. Processing is important, and it's so important because it helps us be organized. It helps us to really evaluate what we want and how we're going to get what we want. But when we process and process and process and never produce, well, we tend to put individuals who do that into a category of dreamers. Wonderful thought processes, thinking and contemplating, and the creative juices that flow in the minds of these individuals is second to none. It's genius. The problem is, if it's never manifested, it's wasted. Then let's talk about productivity. Oh, sweet, sweet action, sweet, sweet results. In my line of work, there are two types of goals. The process goal, which we've just discussed, which is the system, how it's done. And then there's the outcome goal. And as wonderful and as necessary as processes are, it's outcomes that people pay for, people invest in, people search for, people look for. What is the outcome of your life? What is the manifested gifts, talents, results of all the processes that you've applied? We need to be careful. We can process too much so that we don't produce anything, or we can act and act and act, devoid of any system, any process, any organization, any semblance of why we are running mad. You know, when there's madness, there should be a method to it. So these two are integrated, but in and of themselves can be dangerous. Processes and production speak to balance. One is interdependent on the other. You must have them both. And you must not have one in more abundance than you have the other. It's so hard to do that. Well, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but they're both necessary. That's why it's good to work sometimes, not alone, because what we lack, others can kind of make up for, and vice versa. Just keep in mind the importance of processing and the equally important other half of the seesaw, the production. We must produce. It is the production and the action and the manifestation and the bringing to a result, a diligent, consistent outcome that shows just how brilliant we were at the beginning, at the end of the process. It's circular, and you do it all over again. And each time you do it, you get better and absolutely more ingenious than the last. This has been Jody Luster, or JL, and you are on Elevated Living at elevateme.org. And until we next connect, I am wishing you systematic brilliance and fabulously wealthy outcomes while living the very best of life. Ciao.